Hi guys, how's everybody doing? Happy Easter. Happy Easter, everybody. Um, I'm, you know, the daylight and with the situation going on with the eyesight and the phone, it's almost impossible to spell correctly what I'm writing in the header because I can't see it. You know how it is. So I just adapt to it. So if I have to do symbols to state what I want to say, because I can't see it to write it, I'm going to do a list of symbols and phrases. So when I put the symbols, which are easy to see, you know what I mean. Yeah, you have to always think of plan B, C, D, E, or F, because I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. Death shall be my final release. And that's not going to happen anytime soon. Although my option enemies are half of them already on the ground in more ways than one. I'm here at Popeyes. I just finished having a nice three-piece dark meat with rice and beans and a slush. I love it. And then I'll probably go out to dinner at some seafood restaurant. I love mussels and clams. But let's see how the day goes. Today, I didn't know what I have birth charts to do. I have two more to do today. Um, lovely, lovely birth chart, and I probably will be doing that for the rest of the evening because these are first timers, and I always like to give extra time and energy for the newcomers that are getting a birth chart done, especially if they're not familiar with it. Uh, I am observing the Sabbath. It is Easter, so I will be spending time in my altar, right? Doing prayers for you guys, doing prayers for my ops, and thanks and gratitude for the protection of my life, my health, my wealth, and everything else, and my property, my intellectual property. People are still stealing and harvesting. I have a couple of doppelgangers and a couple of copycats. There is some drama going on Facebook. Please don't. That's not me. Someone is making accounts and posing as me, and creating all kinds of drama and chaos with all kinds of pictures and shit like that. They are doing everything. So please don't fall for the okie doke. Okay. Uh, you all know me. You all know my character. So if it looks suspicious, it is. Follow your intuition. At the moment, I'm not taking Facebook friends because these are people doing false accounts, and that's how they're coming in. So for now, I've postponed the Facebook friend selection until these people die or are in prison or are sufficiently maimed that they don't have the energy or time to do this. And also, many are now going into poverty, so they're not going to have the money to do spells and do things that they've been doing. So, excuse me. Oh, okay. The talk of the town is this storm that has been hitting the mid to southwest and of the east coast of the U.S. It has been really bad. I mean, bad. I mean, the thunderstorms were unlike anything I've ever experienced. It's really, and a lot of, I mean, then it gets cold all of a sudden, and it's been like that for a lot of readers. It's like Mother Nature is getting ready to blast. And I've already given you some predictions of natural disasters. Many people in Thailand already know it, they feel it, they sense it, I sense it. Uh, I think it's symbolic of the storm that's gonna hit my family, my whole family, of 30, 40 people. My two exes, you know who they are, the Taurus and Scorpio. And then, of course, my twin brother, the anti-hero, who has been at the top of the pyramid of evil and got involved in a coven and got others involved, including our family members, and is responsible for the death of a few of my family members. This twin brother of mine is something else. And they're still at it. So I don't know what else I can say. I don't know what else I can do to have them have a change of heart. Not because to give me a break, because obviously they're so invested in my destruction, in everything about me and my work, that going that route is a waste of time. So I try to appeal to them. They're not going to win this war. They're going to perish. They're going to perish. And when they perish, they're going to have a horrible, horrible afterlife awaiting them with Anubis in the forefront. And and this interviewer asked me yesterday, how do you feel about the fact that this is happening to you and your company, your business, your health, everything, and the severity of how this is happening? How do you handle it? And I said, well, I gave it to God. I gave it to God, and he knows what he's doing. And I'm no small cookie now. I was in the military. I got training. I was always an athlete, you know, and I'm a fighter, and I do believe in eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. I definitely practiced that law in other previous lives. But today, instead of doing a collective reading, maybe at some point today, maybe in the early or late evening, I'll do a collective reading. But I want to talk about past life. I want to talk about past life. I have to ask myself, how did something like this type of experience, traumatic, horrific, just creeped up out of nowhere? I've known my twin brother my whole life, always withdrawn, passive aggressive. No, I didn't think, I've always had the utmost respect for him, always, because he was always a very upstanding person in the community, a great father, did a wonderful job with raising my niece. Uh, I actually admired and wanted to be like him. I looked up to him. I had no idea that this man loved the breath that I took. I had no idea that he was gay. I had no idea that he was molested. I had no idea that he was a cross-dresser. I mean, you just see what I tell you. Be careful with the quiet types, because those are the ones that will do you in. Something about my brother's silence, I never trusted. Not even as a child. I don't trust silence in people at all. Because why are you so quiet? So it always buzzed me the wrong way. And anybody. And I was always right. Uh, Today, I employ that technique, and it has served me well. I don't really like using this technique. I've never done it ever before in my life until now. But I see its usefulness. I see the strategy in tactic and in attack, but also retaliation and defense. You have to be quite a person to know how to use the power of silence as a virtue or as a weapon. And my brother is a triple threat in all three. So I hope he doesn't believe once he crosses over, because he will cross over, that he has done nothing of his life, because he has done a lot, and it by default has taught me and many other people the art of deceptive war. Because there's the art of war and then there's the art of deceptive war, covert war. So a book should be written about it. My brother, had it been another person, and been more of an upscale person spiritually, because he is materially and physically descended the ego. But spiritually, he was a more upstanding person. He would have seen the advantage that he could have used that, not just to help and heal any wounds that he may still have, but also to help other people heal. But having those conversations are meaningless, they mean nothing to people like that, uh, which border on the lines of sociopath, psychopath, or psychotic or sociopathic behavior, uh, generated by pent up rage, anger, and sadness. So, but my brother is not a communicator, and that's by choice. And neither was my older brother, my sisters, or my mother. It seems to be that I was the only one in the family to come out the way I did. You know? And everybody has taken great offense to that. And that's too fucking bad. But was it necessary to take this to this level? Apparently so. But what I've come to find out is I had an extraterrestrial come to me yesterday. And I saw the spaceship. I did. I saw the spaceship. I used to see spaceships when I was little. Me and my twin brother. It was oh man, this is not news to us. Even in the Dominican Republic, where I grew up with my brother, we I remember in the street that I lived. It was like around 9 o'clock, and there was commotion. Me and my brother were asleep because we had to go to bed early. 8:30, 9 o'clock. We were already there as kids. We were like maybe 6, 7, 8. But everybody went outside. They were screaming. Oh my God! Look, 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 look! And me and my brother, we were debating whether we were going to get out of our beds and go out and check what people were shooting. So we did, unbeknownst to people watching us. And our Nana was not available. She was outside too. And we looked and we were transfixed at the spaceship with the flying saucer with the lights, woo, 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 and go, and it was 8 quarters in uproar. This happened in, I want to say, 1976, 77, around there, in the Dominican Republic. When I came to the United States, to go to school, I saw it again when I was in my first year of college. And you didn't think anything of it. I was fascinated when I was a child, but at 18, 19 years old in the United States, I didn't believe it was a flat source. I just thought it was some kind of anomaly, that might resemble some extraterrestrial shit. I never believed in weather balloons because we don't do weather balloons now. It was popular in the 60s, 50s, maybe fading out in the 70s. It was such a stupid, ridiculous lie. But that tells you how much these elites think about intelligence. Um, Yesterday, I got the same visitation. And it was a gray. It was a gray. The grays can make the ship appear or they can make them disappear. Like Wonder Woman, you send that jet plane, it's invisible, and then it becomes visible. There's some spaceships that have that technology, and that's why they come, hidden from view. Uh, and he told me, now the Greys are not friendly at all. They're not friendly, and they're quite hostile to humans. And they're the ones that like to do human experiments and do abductions and also mutilate our cat. These are the types of extraterrestrial beings that do this. Uh, And it's so funny because this one looks so evil. And he reminded me of my brother. He looked like my brother in the eye. And he told me that I need to share this with the collective because it rings a parallel that is yet to be understood. Many of you have probably the same questions. Why is this man coming after me like this and turning the whole family against me? Why does he want to have me murdered? What is the severity of the injustice in his mind that could precipitate this type of um, shift from being a loving twin brother to a very dangerous, murderous foe that just you just didn't see coming? Something didn't add up. Something did not add up. And they told me that the link in putting this together is the past life dynamic. And I went into a trance and I got them a big headache. And when they told me, they actually showed me the actual life. And they showed me multiple lives where my brother did kill me several times and stole from me. And they gave me also two examples in Egyptian history where you saw the same dynamic. One is Moses and King Ramses II. Because remember, Moses and King Ramses II were brothers, but Moses was adopted into the Egyptian royal palace, unbeknownst to Moses. So it was really his stepbrother, not his blood brother. The same situation has happened to me and my twin brother. Then you have the story of um, King Tut, Tutankhamun, and Judefre, who was another pharaoh that went against King Tut, and they were also raised as brothers. So there's a similar theme here that keeps repeating itself, and it's so interesting that this is Easter and the Ten Commandments is on. And they told me, watch it. You need to watch it because that's your story. And that explains your royal bloodline. And you may have the royal bloodline, your brother doesn't. And there is a mixture of karmic bloodline with royal bloodline. What caused this to occur was the slave trade, the slave embargo upon the coming of the Aryan race. Now, and these have mixed. So we have people that are royal blood in karmic family, and you have royal blood family who may want to karmic. And that explains that intercrossing, the slave trade. And of course, at the end of the Aryan of the bull period, right? The period of the bull, the closing end of that, which is the Ten Commandments, the parting of the Red Sea, that was the cataclysm that closed the age of Taurus. Right? And in the kingdom of Hathor, we have the symbol, right? With the disc, with the thing that, which what the cow looks, right? But again, that wasn't looked at from the cow's perspective. It was from the star of Saturn. Saturn was considered a star at the time and shone brightly. And it gave it sort of lunar disk percent. Now, anything in the heavens has a correlation below. And the animal that correlated to that was the bull, which is why the bull was worshipped. Right? So everything, you have to connect it as above, so below. That was the correspondence. But even the Taurus woman wasn't Samson and Delilah, where she cut his hair. She persuaded him to cut his hair. The woman in Florida begged me to cut my hair. She wanted to cut my hair. As she made love to me, she played with my hair, just like in that movie Samson and Delilah. So I was like, damn, but I'm not these people. I'm not a reincarnate of these past personages. And they looked and they said, and I'm like, oh, I don't have an ego like that. I'm sorry. Maybe I vibrate with the virtuous energy of these ascended masters. But I'm not going to believe that I was once King Solomon. Even though we are very similar with a lot of similar patterns, he had great knowledge, and people came from all over for his knowledge. The same thing with me. People have flown in, have booked hotels, for especially a couple of years earlier. So and people actually made the correlation, like, you're like the modern Solomon, because that was the same cycle that occurred during that epoch. So I started to put two and two together. I'm like, maybe this explains the royal blood DNA and the jealousy, the envy. And I've seen how my brother killed me 3 times in different lifetimes. And all of it had to do with jealousy and envy, and right to entitlements uh, that he doesn't deserve because he doesn't have royal bloodline. And I say this to say that many of you are walking around with royal lineages that you don't even know, and that maybe you need to look deeper, further into your past lives, either through the birth chart or through a hypnotherapist or a past life regressionist. Now it's so funny because I am a past life regressionist. I used to do that, make a lot of money. Very dangerous work. Very dangerous work. Um, I almost lost someone when I was learning, and very dangerous. Very dangerous. I elected not to do it again. But every time I did it, it really healed people who were courageous enough to go through the process. And it's not an easy process. You don't go three, four, two, one, and then you fall under. Some people might take a minute. Some people might take weeks. I had a client that it took me 4 months, 4 months to break through that barrier and ask permission from the guardians, the dweller of the threshold, the ancestors, to allow me into the Akashic record of that person. But I was 28 years old at the time. I'm 55, so I'm probably far more proficient now than I was at 28. However, a more simpler approach to look at these dynamics is through the birth chart. No, I don't discuss past life dynamics in detail with my clients. First of all, the 360 doesn't cover that, and it's a lot of work. And a lot of people just are not ready to understand who they were or how to use that information to advance who they are today. And some people are still in disbelief that this exists. So this is still another layer of human discovery that we have to become comfortable with, because past lives do exist. It is real. There are people that go through shit that are innocent in the current life, which we have no explanation as to why a loving God would cause such calamities until we link the past life connection. Maybe you were somebody else, a monster in the past life that got away with shit. Like people are getting away or think they're getting away with things that they're doing today. And therefore, when you reincarnate, these things come back in ways that could seem to the outside observer not understanding this quite ruthless and severe and merciless. But that might have been the case in a former life when the tables were turned. So it helps to really put things into a perspective on a higher order. So I warn you guys that for Easter, contemplate and think and reflect on the issues and turmoils that you're going through with either family members, friends, ex-lovers, and see if you can connect them to past life dynamics where you see a pattern there. Once you do, you're going to be able to understand why things are happening the way they are happening. You know, this might expunge the karma that doesn't even have anything to do with you, but can go back many, many lifetimes. You know, remember, time is fluid. So, you might not pay for something in the last life, but you pay for it in this life. But you can go back and jump timelines and heal past transgression, even from past life. You can do this for others too. There's specific prayers for that. You know, so it forced me to, and I was a high priest in the former life, and so was he. You know? So I think that in this life, no, we have to definitely up our methods and tools of social investigation as to who we are as a people and who we were, and the significance of wanting or needing to know who we were, because it might link us to what's happening today. And this is something that I've always known, but I didn't uh, go too deep. I didn't write papers on it like I did with the ecological series. It's just too complex, and you need to have some kind of mental health communication, sociology. You have to have other precepts to even approach a basic understanding of what I'm talking about. Um, so that's nothing. No, no, no. I don't think so. It probably was the biggest mistake I've ever made in my career. I should have expound on that further. Created a tool that you guys can understand and also maybe tap in so that you can find a way to make sense of what's happening in your life, especially when it comes to crisis and turmoil and things like that. Um, yeah, I invite you now this Easter to explore this possibility because I feel very light and very empowered by this information. No, that's it. That's all I have to say. I will come back to do the Bible code. Have the ties ready, and this will be about Leviathan. Okay, guys. I hope this helps somebody.